Welcome back, everyone. On deck today for review is an oldie but a goodie. The old school Gen 2 Glock 22 chambered in 40 caliber, 15+1 capacity. A very popular gun right now on the police surplus market. That's kind of why we're doing the review. These guns are coming up really pretty much every month on the police distributor websites. The companies that do the trade-ins sell them, like Summit Gun Broker, Sportsman's Outdoor Superstore, Keesler's, things like that. These guns are a great deal because most of them were carried a lot, shot a little, and are still in great shape. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and put some rounds here on steel and then get into the rest of the review. Hopefully on steel. We'll see. There you go. As you can see, these old guns can still shoot.
We'll go ahead and show you how to take the pistol apart like we usually do. First thing you want to always do is go ahead and press the magazine release, pull the magazine out, go ahead and inspect the chamber, make sure it's clear. It is. Point the weapon in a safe direction, pull the trigger, pull back slightly on the slide, pull down on the tabs, release, take your slide off, take your barrel out, and that is your field strip Glocks. One of the advantages of all Glock pistols is just the simplicity of operation and the simplicity of maintenance. The Gen 2s are no different. In fact, maybe even simpler, in fact, but that's a whole nother video. Anyway, you just put it back in reverse order. Go ahead and put the slide on those rails, rack it back, and your gun is good to go back in working order. Any discussion of Gen 2 Glock 40 caliber pistols would be incomplete without at least mentioning the kaboom factor, so that's what we're going to try to cover here. We see right here we have the Gen 2 barrel, and here we have the 2012 production Gen 4 Glock 23 barrel. What I'm going to do here is take a couple Winchester Ranger rounds, stick them in there, and I'm going to show you the case support difference. Try to anyway. Go ahead and line these up for you so they're equal. And you can see if you look down just over the feed ramp, all that extra brass that you can see right here, that is the difference in the case support. What that's going to do is, you guys have probably read the internet rumors or postings of folks who have had their Glocks quote-unquote kaboom, or have had the chamber pressure in excess without the case support, and then their guns crack, things like that. Sometimes the barrels crack, get stuck, get locked up, the frames crack, magazines shoot out, things like that. That's what's commonly known as a kaboom. So no doubt about it, the chance is there. There's a 99.9% probability that you'll never have an issue, in my opinion. I shoot these guns, I feel just fine with them. That said, I wouldn't go ahead and hand load really hot stuff, or even, I wouldn't even put like Buffalo Bore or anything like that in a Gen 2 Glock 40. It's just better to err on the side of caution, in my opinion. If you're gonna do that, go ahead and get a Gen 4. The Gen 2s are perfectly safe, in my opinion. It's just something you need to be aware of.
So I'm going to try to go over some of the pros and cons here like I always do. That said, I have done Glock 22 reviews before, albeit different generations. I'll post a link here for you guys that have seen those. Those are probably going to be a little bit more in depth in terms of pros and cons, but all those pros and cons generally are still going to apply to this gun. But I'm going to go ahead and try to focus on the Gen 2 specifics. Like I said earlier in the video, these guns are available in a lot of law enforcement trade-in stores. So like on the internet, for instance, Sportsman's Outdoor Superstore, Keesler, GT Distributors, there's several others, I can't list them all out, but they are frequently getting these department trade-ins in, even now during the panic. For instance, these are available at my local law enforcement trade-in sale as we speak, March 2013, for $329. Now, you're talking about a very well-proven gun with a lot of rounds left in it, like I mentioned earlier. Comes with 15-round magazines in states where that's legal, of course. You're not going to find that in a lot of places these days for that price. So you get a lot of gun for your money with these trade-in Gen 2 guns. Another advantage of it, for some people at least, is the flat grip right here. There's no finger grooves like you'll see on the Gen 3 and Gen 4 guns. Me, I have relatively large hands, so the finger grooves do actually fit my hands, but that's not the case for everybody. If you have smaller hands, a lot of people say those finger grooves don't line up. We'll get to that during the rest of the review. Anyway, back on topic. Those finger grooves don't line up for a lot of people, and they prefer the flat front strap here. So it's an advantage for a lot of folks out there. And the proven record, like I said, definitely an advantage of the gun. These guns were made, like for instance, this one I believe is a 92 gun. These guns were made back when Glock was building its reputation for reliability. A lot of law enforcement agencies, federal departments, things like that, switched over to the Glock 22 during this time period because they were just utterly reliable, durable, proven guns, great finishes, lots of accessories, holsters, all that jazz. Everything that applies to Glocks applies to these guns. A few of the cons, if you will. of the Gen 2 guns is on the dust cover here. You'll see there is no rail, so no capability of adding a light, i.e. the Streamlight TRL, the Surefire X300. Those lights you can't add on there. There are obviously lights that do mount basically to the trigger guard, so those are still available on there if you really want to. Like the Crimson Trace, for instance, is one. We'll get around to reviewing that one of these days. I do have one. And the other con is, like I mentioned earlier, is the case support. Now, again, as I mentioned, there's very unlikely that you'll ever have an issue with it. The only issue I've ever seen with a Gen 2 40 caliber Glock having a kaboom was with hand-loaded rounds that were very likely a double charge. You'll read about them on the internet, things like that, but in reality, you almost never really see them. And when you do, it's either hand-loaded rounds or boutique-type ammo that's loaded a little bit hotter than what SAMI would specify anyway. So generally speaking, you're going to be just fine there. All in all, good guns, great history, accurate, reliable, everything you want in a gun with a low price, and generally they're still available a lot of places. But as always, guys, if you have any questions about this gun, anything else I review here, the gear reviews, light reviews, training videos I put out, things like that, feel free to post those comments either here in the comments section. You can also post them over at my Facebook page. I'll put the link right here. But thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and we'll see you guys in the next video.